What the fuck are you staring at, ho? Oh, good morning.
Blank Beats Production.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VRChat Experience podcast. I am your host, Vito TV. This is my co-host, Sataria. Sataria, introduce yourself.
Dang, I'm not calling my own blank. I'm Sataria. I'm the audio. Wait. Audio. AV. I'm not gonna lie. I forgot what the letter started with. I'm not gonna lie.
Let's just start.
Which one's A?
Roll the intro.
Roll me. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, which one's A? Which one's B? It's like the Batman thing. It's gonna spin to come back. What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Today, we're going to be
God.
talking about one of the biggest things for our group and in VRChat, the gays. I know.
Ugh.
A giant round of applause, but if you are gay, a giant sigh. I mean,
It's so tiring. Exhausting.
if you are part of the community, you understand the struggles, you understand the amazingness, you understand all of it. So we're gonna kind of go through this throughout the acronym, so LGBTQ, and throw in some of our opinions throughout that whole, the lettering system. So let's start with the obvious. I think we should start with just the community in general, our general opinion on it, and then we'll go into the nitty gritty. So, I mean, I'll start off with mine. I am gay. I am just hetero. I am just homo. I just like men. I almost said hetero. Almost called myself some major backlash, y'all. I promise I'm not one of these things. But
no, I'm a hetero. Everybody in the room turns their head like, what? Your boyfriend begs to differ, but live your truth, bestie. Live your truth, I guess.
Right. I'm taken by a man. I love him very much. And that whole thing, I've been out since honestly my entire life, at least to everybody all that like needs to know. So since probably like elementary school back in I don't even know, back in the day. I've been out. And how about you, girl? What's your story in the culture?
Straight, can't stand men, I'm lying. You can leave the avatar. Bisexual. Fan of both, I've gotta say. Unfortunately, I also like men. But that's neither here nor there. What other thing should I point out? I don't know.
How long have you been out? How long have you been out to people?
So it's more of an approach of if you ask, I'll tell you, and if you find out, oh well. You know what I'm saying?
Again, I think people can tell because I think we both have like vocal inclinations.
What do you mean by that?
Like,
what do you mean by that?
What are you talking about? I don't know what you
mean. What are you
talking about? Hetero.
No, but no. I think the thing is, I'm much more excessive in VR because I find it so funny the reactions I get. Because like there are people who have you like your reactions to me are very much satire to how like extra I am, but there are people reactions that are like genuine, like oh my god, and I hope I piss, and I find that funny.
And then again, it's always like I think honestly at the same time, like I don't want to play this card, but like I feel like going back to the main topic, like gay, like us as gay people, I feel like when we are, stepping into our own and being like a lot more forwardly loud about, not loud about being gay, but loud and then also being gay, it's kind of like, oh, you have a lot of energy I can't deal with. Really, babe, I have a lot of I don't know how to say it, like self-power that I'm okay with that you don't have. That's how I always saw it. Like if you can't handle me being like loud and about myself and being myself, I feel like at that point you just don't know how to handle being around someone who is authentic,
overly confident in themselves. You know, like
just
I
authentic.
love everything about me, and I just, you know, I love everything about me, and I just so happen. Well, I want to say this: me being black and queer is a very important part of it because you can't separate the two. Like you really can't separate the two, especially like when you are black and you are like part of the queer community. You can't separate the two, and it's like, oh yeah, you can be gay, but you can't just be gay. You know what I'm saying? You can't just be bi. It's like, oh, you're gay and you're black. That's going to be something that is pinpointed and noticed every single time. Because the gay community sure do love to be like, you're gay. What else? You can't just tell somebody you're gay, and you got to tell them. They want to know every, especially a race. And racism is crazy in the queer community.
In the queer community, the racism, the fat phobia, and I say racism and also colorism. It's the same thing, but like I think they're two different points inside the community. Racism, colorism, fat phobia, and
prejudice, and just the amount of prejudice and what it falls under.
Yeah.
Because it's just
like, and like let's explore that, okay? Let's first finish. We're talking about like with like energies, because like we both have different energies. Like you very much still have like the very explosive, but like also if you need I'm very loud, but I'm here for you kind of vibe. I'm more of I don't like you until you have proven that you're worth liking, and then I am the pillar of your loyalty. Like I will be there if you need me at all times for everything. But like the thing is that my patience, I have a lot of, I don't know how to word it. I'm like a fortress of ice. That's usually how I think of it. I'm like a fortress of ice. If you want to get to me, you have to warm me up. You have to get there. You have to get inside the walls, because I'm otherwise.
Like you have a lot more barriers.
Period.
You know what I'm saying? Like I
don't think they're barriers, in my opinion.
Oh no, that's not bad at all. I don't think that's bad at all. See, I don't have any barriers, but once you get to the center, it'll drive you away. That's what I'm more kind of like a bomb.
Yeah.
Yeah. Long as you don't make me. Yeah, I'm saying, like, as long as you don't make me explode, you're fine. You know what I'm saying? I just have a lot of energy. It's there. You know it's there.
Yeah. Supernova.
It'll be fine. Just be careful. You know what I'm
saying? Supernova, like a giant star. Anyways, those are our opinions on the community. But let's get into the nitty gritty. Let's start with the lesbians, the lesbians, the females, the females.
I don't know enough lesbians in my life. Speaking of, hey Phoebe.
Me neither.
Hey, milk girl, what's good? Love Phoebe. Love Phoebe to death. Love her.
So, speaking of Phoebe, it was honestly, in my opinion, it was very nice kind of watching her come into her lesbianness. Because when I first met her, she was not full lesbian. And like,
she was like, she's like a lean, she's a preference for women, but like, she was like very much bisexual. Yes. Felt like it. At least what was displayed, I guess the best way to word it.
100%. Watching her lean forward more into like obviously like what she was wanting, which is being a lesbian. Slay, literally slay. But like I don't know enough lesbians, and I don't know enough about lesbian culture. Really? Like the only lesbians I know are ones on TV, and like obviously different like types of lesbians, especially like because obviously there's like I don't know if this is a slur. If it's a slur, I'll bleep it. But like butches and you know, you have like
I don't think it's considered a slur since we're a part of said community. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I don't think it's a slur for us to say. You know what I'm saying? Because we're a part of said close community.
Yeah. But there's, you know, all the top bottoms, all that stuff. But like I don't know enough about lesbian culture. I know that lesbian culture drives a lot of music in the gay community though. A lot of music is like very much.
The only thing I know is Girl in Red. That's it.
So she's so lesbian. But like a lot of music in the gay community, and at least from what I've noticed, is obviously written by women. And if it's not, then it's very, very like overtly sexual, or if it's not sexual, it's just kind of mid. Like it's like Conan Gray or like Troye Sivan, which are good music. I prefer Troye Sivan, but it's just kind of like
right. You'll hear like a really fantastic song. So like if we're just
Right.
talking about like two men or two women, it was just like the song is so beautiful, the song is so amazing, but like I wish I could relate to it a little. But just that one nudge, but
Just a bit more.
Artists
a bit
are
more.
straight, unfortunately.
Well, I don't know about anything about the lesbians, so we're gonna move past the lesbians.
I need more of my life. That's all I know. I need more of my life. That's all I know.
More than my life. If you're a lesbian out there and you know me, talk to me. We need you in our life. Please.
For real. What's that the L?
Anyways,
G. Oh, the gays. Video your time to shine.
the gays. Hello, everyone. Hello. I am Mother Gay. It is nice to meet you.
Please.
I like to refer myself as a mother, because I foster so many gays in my humble home of ice, of cold dead ice. No one escaped my kingdom,
Dead or rigid. Oh god.
but no, you are safe under Mother. Anyways,
Right.
under Mother, one and indivisible.
Oh god, just get like
With liberty
a Discord
and
banner.
bigotry for
It's
all.
just American flag, but you. It's just you, but the American flag. The new Channel 9 banner. Oh, period. It's just us side by side, just. And that's it. That's the American flag, but rainbow. That's it. That's it. I can see it now. I can see it now. You know what I'm saying? I have the vision.
Oh god.
I have the vision.
No, but I have so many opinions on gays. So specifically, I feel like let me take my AirPod out for this. Hold on, y'all. I feel like specifically a lot of gay men, because that's what gay men on men. There are a few types of gay men, but unfortunately, I feel like so many of them are so toxic. Because like if you're not 18 to 25, anything above that, you're too old. If you're any bigger than 200 pounds, you're too fat. If you have any kind of skin blemishes,
let them know you pushing 175. Right.
Right.
They quick
You're
with
too
it.
ugly. If you don't live on your own, you're poor. If you don't have an iPhone, you're poor.
Hey.
It's like, can we win?
You're poor. Oh god.
Can we win? Can we ever win? But it gets worse when you think about like a lot of gay men, if they aren't tops, right? Because I feel like a lot of, at least like from what I can tell, a lot of gay men are bottoms. I don't have a problem with the bottoms, y'all. If you need to be cared for, like a small little puppy dog, I understand. But why are there so many? Why are there so many of y'all? Where are your parents? Where are your parents? Did they ever?
I find that so funny when I hear people talk about what I find interesting regarding that topic. Right, when I hear people saying, I saw a TikTok on this, oh my god, so why there's like a top shortage? Like, oh my god, there's none of them. Why are there so little? There's none around.
Right.
You sure you just won't? You you sure that is, or you just have a preference? And if you don't fall in that preference, it's an automatic no. And I was like, ooh. I feel like that one was a definite hit. But you ain't ever allowed a lot of bottoms, and that's just the fact that you ain't ever allowed that one.
Period. I have a preference, right? I feel like most gay men do. I think most gay men have a very strict preference. Like, I want a very specific kind of man in my life, which I don't think is wrong. I think everyone should have that kind of preference. I don't think you should settle for anything less than perfection when looking for a partner. Because you want to be with your partner for longer than just, 3 years. At least that's how I think personally, right? But like, if my boyfriend, my current boyfriend, right, he hits this quality, right? A fantastic speaker. I can listen to him talk for hours, right? He at least attempts to meet me where I'm at, He tries to learn things like this, he attempts to do his best, right? Those are great qualities. But if you don't meet every single quality, I'm not going to be like, well, no, sorry, can't date you. You're not the guy for me. It's like, y'all.
I dare thought you can be like, he meets all these qualities, but he's a bottom. I'm like, wait a minute, this is slander. We just said Wait a minute. The slender is insane. It's like, wait a minute.
He needs all
Backtrack.
these qualities, but he needs to get fucked in the. Anyways. I love you, babe. I love you, babe. I love you, babe.
God.
I love you so much.
Anyway,
Anyways.
I think it's crazy when people say like there's like a shortage, and I'm like, is there? Then again, like I feel like a lot of things when people like what it means for someone to be. I feel like what it means to be a top or bottom is something we should discuss somewhere down the line in this conversation, because that's also something that's very prevalent, but also in
Go
just
into it
queer
now.
community.
I mean, like,
Period. What it means for someone to be a top and bottom can mean so many things. Because some people who have quote unquote top energy, people are just what the generic term of it, someone who can be more dominant, someone who has bottom energy is more submissive. And I think that I think that everyone has their own niches and their preferences, but I just think someone who dominant is more reliable, and someone who has more bottom energy is someone who wants to or needs to rely on somebody else. Nothing wrong with either or, right? Because I just think that there are some people who are just who weren't given like weren't put in a situation in order for them to be not in the best to be reliable, but they need help in certain categories, which there's nothing wrong with that. People need help with certain things, but like for example, when it comes to me, given how I was raised, I can deal with a lot of things and just keep on going. You know what I'm saying? I know how to keep going for to help others, to help myself, or just help a group. You know what I'm saying? But there are people who just like they burn out really easily, or they get overwhelmed. There's nothing wrong with that. But what people will say is, oh, you have more bottom energy. And I feel like a lot of times that can be insulting, which like in some cases, it's supposed to be like a joking insult. For example, Fifi, you absolute problem. Call him a bottom all the time. And it's supposed to be a insult. But you know, something, you know, people have different needs, people have different situations, people have different lifestyles, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to sit right here and say, ugh, you're a bottom. Well, I do that, but like as a joke, but I don't dream like, ugh, you're a bottom. That's embarrassing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm never going to do that, but people, and then people who have like more top energy.
I don't think there's anything wrong with being a bottom or a top. Like, I think that, when it comes to me and you, we have bully humor. Let's just say how it is. We have bully humor, but like, there's nothing wrong with being a bottom or a top. I think if you need to be cared for and you need to be like, you know, not coddled, but like you need to be cared for, you're a bottom, like, and that's fine. If you need to be, you know, kind of like you need to be taking charge, leading the group, you know, I'm going to help you where I need to help you. But like, if I need confinement, you can confide in me, then you're a top, and that's fine. But like, I think that for some people, when you're a bottom because you obviously need these kinds of niches, you need this kind of attention. I think people get offended by that, and personally, I don't understand it, because I mean, like, if you know that you need these kinds of things from a man specifically, why are you offended that I'm calling you a bottom? No offense, but
I think the reason is people associate the term bottom with weak. That's the problem when it's
being a pussy.
Let me tell you something. There's some bottoms out here that'll completely rock you if you push them a little too much. Watch you get knocked down a peg or two. You know what I'm saying?
Listen, I'm a verse, but I'm also a power bottom.
Video hit him with the wop.
I'm doing jazz. But what you?
Oh goodness, and I think it's like I said, toxic side of the community. People tend to say that, well, if you're this, you're this, and if you're this, you're this. But there's also that some humor that comes with that side of it. That, you know, if you are a bottom, people gonna poke at you for it.
Right.
People gonna poke at you for it, and most of the time, it's gonna be funny. It's gonna be funny because the jokes, some people, the creativity with the queer community is insane, and that's really the reason, because the creativity is wild.
All good comedians are queer, and I will stand by that to the day I die. Every good comedian is at least some kind of queer, and you can't tell me I'm wrong. Because if you do, I'm gonna pull up to your home. I'm kidding. But anyway,
I'm not. Give me your address. But I think when it comes to like who's a top and who's a bottom, right? That people base personalities, relationships, even off what that means for like two people,
which is okay. I hate when people do that. I hate when people like like in a relationship will like stick where I have to be a top or I have to be a bottom, and I can't show any weakness or I can't show any strength. You know what I'm saying? I hate when
Right.
people do that in gay relationships because it's so common. People like, okay, I need to constantly be needy. I need to constantly be this, that, and if I show any kind of like, oh, we getting up, bro?
Go
What you
ahead.
need?
Go ahead. I was
If
just
we need-
Dustin. Go ahead. No, speak.
If we need any kind of like, if like, again, I am mostly averse. I don't mind being more dominant or more submissive, but I prefer to be submissive because it's not a big deal for me. But I can be dominant. You know what I mean? I'm comfortable.
I
with
will
taking
not
charge.
be revealing any such information because my dad now watches podcast. That part.
We'll just ban this
Somebody-
episode.
He's not allowed to watch this episode. Dad, if you're watching, stop. Stop
Yeah.
right here.
Skip to this part of the
watch
video.
what you need to watch. No, but like, oh no, for real, it's just like, go continue, because what you said is 100% true.
Like, it just makes me so upset when I have to watch people in my community stick to like what do you want to say, the gender norm, I guess, for a relationship. Like, I need to
Yeah,
be
very
the
much
woman,
so.
or I need to be the man. And it's like, no, girl, you don't have to be a house husband all the time. If your boyfriend's fucking up, you better say something. Like, if as a top, if your boyfriend's not like, your boyfriend's doing too much, you better put him in his place.
Period.
Or
You never lied.
if
You
you're
never
a top,
lied.
if
You
you
never lied.
if you need to be taken care of, you should be able to confide in your into your partner. I think that should be anybody. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I can't stand manly tops. That's really what it is. I can't stand manly tops. If you're so much of a man that you can't be, if you can't cry, please hop away from me and go back to Kentucky because I don't like you. I don't
Not
like
at all. Not even the
you.
slightest. Not even a little bit. Ooh, wait a minute. I was thinking, I was like, LG. I turn to shine. Let's go. The bisexual. What I find very enjoyable about being bisexual is that one, I can look at just about anybody and be like, God dang, and have a chance. You know what I'm saying? Not only is you bad, I got a chance. Because like some people don't understand it. Gay men can look at a woman and be like, she bad. You know, like she bad, but there's no
100%.
attraction to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which
I think the best way to describe it as a gay man, right? For me, my attraction comes through a very romantic and sexual need. Like, if I love men, not because no, I don't say I love. I have an attraction to men because I find them romantically attractive and sexually attractive. I look at a woman and I think they're absolutely divine looking. They can be sent from God, but I don't have any attraction towards them in a romantic or sexual sense. Sataria, however, can do it for everybody. Anybody.
whoa. That makes me sound like a whore.
As long as you're pretty.
Everybody who's watching this that we know that you making a comment, I will come for you. Not a word. Anyways, I'm not a whore. But yeah.
I'm on this video.
No, but like I think when it comes to being bisexual, right? There's a lot of things happening. A lot of I exude a lot of feminine energy in VR because I not because I can't do that IRL. I just don't. So I do a lot of like energy that kind of bounces around. But I have this very loud, I have more male feminine energy. It's really loud. I like the way because, like, you know, female feminine energy and male feminine energy can be very different. You know what I'm saying? Or at least the way that I think.
I get you.
Because when you have feminine male energy, you're seen as gay. When you have female feminine energy, you're seen as straight. You know what I'm saying? Unless told otherwise. So that's why I think it's like just how it's perceived. At least how it is perceived, which isn't a good thing. But I'm just how it is normally perceived. But like because I have the energy, people just really assume that, oh my goodness, you're right. So I thought you were gay. I'm like, yeah. Ask. You know what I'm saying? Because like, be right here. I'll take your boyfriend and your girlfriend. Stop playing with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, the negatives that come with it include that you don't get a lot of it. But I have the people just don't understand how you can be bisexual. And I think that's just the weirdest thing in the world. Like,
Explain that.
they basically get, they're mostly, unfortunately, it's mostly men, but I see a lot of it in like black men. They don't understand, like, oh, well, if you're bisexual, you mean just gay? No. Also, you like women.
Oh,
No.
yeah.
So which is it? I'm like, what do you
bisexual with
mean?
being gay. Yeah, I know, I get you.
Right.
I
I'm
get
like,
you.
bro, like, you want me to go like date a guy and date a girl to prove you? Like, what? Like, that statement in itself is like saying I can't like two things at once. Which is so interesting to me that you can get in such a headspace that the idea of liking two things at the same time doesn't make sense. That's like saying you can't like cars and trucks. But if I have both in my driveway, but you don't say like, oh, you don't want both of them. Well, I have both of them, so you're obviously wrong. It's just it's Jesus. I just think it's crazy how that's just like a thing for people to have, as well as what's also very interesting is that how people when people start questioning their sexuality, right? If you start questioning your sexuality, and let's say at one point you're like, okay, I think I'm bi, people will either immediately start pushing you to one side or the other. People just so fast.
That's gonna really play when we get to trans with the pink pill thing. But like, I hate our community when they fucking do that shit. When they push people to like be gay or be straight. Like, let people figure it the fuck out. Like, stop trying to push them in a direction. Like, I hate whenever, like, cause especially like in my area when I was like in high school, because I was in the LGBTQ awareness club, right? In high school, and so we had people that were like that would come in, because we had like a guidance counselor as our like student, as like the student president, like the club organizer. You know what I'm saying? We had a guidance counselor who was also in gay studies, so they know what they're talking about. But like the entire club would always be like, "Oh, you're bi? You must like this person, this person, this person," and they're all men. But it's like, no, they are trying to figure out if they even have those feelings towards men. Don't y'all listen, community. Don't force bi-curious people to date the same sex because you think it's right. Let them figure it the fuck out. They're bi-curious for a reason.
Even then,
like,
just don't
leave them
like
alone.
When people are under the impression that if you are bisexual and a male, they assume that you're going to end up gay, or if you're bisexual and a woman, you're doing it for attention, which is ridiculous. Wild. It's literally insane I think it's crazy because like I had my friend, because they've grown, because I bullied him out of foolishness, but I was like, they were like, oh, most people who are bi end up becoming gay. I'm like, oh, here we are 5 years later.
Period.
Oh, okay, yeah, crickets, as it should be. Be so for real right now. Be so for real right now. And it's just
another thing that I also
wild.
like. This is one thing I love and hate about the bisexual community. It's like bisexual people are probably one of the chillest gays out of the community, because they just don't care. Like, let's be real. Bisexual community don't really care. They like, I like everything. Period. Like, I don't have any like, kind of preferences. I really do, but like, there's not really like a thing where it's like I am stuck to this one kind of person. I can really date the whole spectrum of extremely feminine and extremely masculine. I can do the whole thing.
I will say though, what is very interesting, I got a scene that's not coming out. What I found very interesting is that because it's not there, so I just want to touch upon it. People who are like bisexual, pansexual, and people. What I personally find I would love having this conversation. I had it with Nerdy, because Nerdy identifies as pansexual. I think I was like I'm bisexual. So I don't know how, but it came in the conversation. I was like, I think it's crazy is that if you say that you are pansexual, but you end up saying, oh, I'm pansexual, but a man have to have this, this, and this, and not have this, this, and this, and a woman can't have this, this, and this, and this, this, and this. So pansexual in itself is to say your gender doesn't. It's pansexual to say your gender doesn't play a role if I'm attracted to you. But if you have stipulations for what it means for a guy versus a woman, or a woman for a guy, well, then you have stipulations. So gender does play a big role. That's the reason I as bisexual, not pansexual, because I see certain things in men versus when I see certain things in women. You know what I'm saying? If you're pansexual, you're like, okay, I need you to have these traits no matter the gender. That's what I think is more pansexual than anything. But say well, I'm pansexual, but don't have this and be a guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
That isn't that again. Like I have gone on record to say, y'all, this is a podcast. This is expected of us. I just think there are too many sexualities. I just think that is. I just think that at a certain point it has reached its maximum capacity, and I only say that because I did my research, right. I truly think that a lot of sexualities now are just sexual preferences and not sexualities. Like, if I like strictly feminine people, it doesn't make it a sexuality. It just means I like feminine people.
That's so.
Or if I have an attraction to someone based on like, oh, they have to be sexually attractive to me. The feelings don't matter. That's just your sexual preference. That's just what I have. That I just have that preference that I have for other people.
Right.
I don't
if you
think
say
it's
I like feminine people, you're bisexual with a preference.
I just think that they're trying to narrow it down a bit too much, and I think that having it be broad is what makes being queer amazing, because you can fall into these communities that you can find like-minded people. Obviously, you're going to have your own preferences, your own opinions, but that's human nature. Everyone has their own preferences, their own opinions. But don't create a whole new section of flag because you and Brian happen to understand that y'all both like feminine people. Bestie, that doesn't make them sexuality. That means that you have a common preference. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all niggas just mad because y'all bisexual popping. Be so for real, be so for real with me. Be so for
Period.
real.
Period.
I think what's interesting is that I agree with that part, but like at least as someone who isn't ace, I think it's very interesting when I find people like the very, 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 very like I've come to such a long list of people who identify as ace or how they identify as ace. And there's one I've realized that is like
ace is one of the okay. This is true. I think, right? LGBTQ, asexual, pansexual, queer, LGBT queer, and then asexual, pansexual. Everything else is preference. That's what I think truly.
Yeah,
because asexual and pansexual covers it. Like asexual, I don't really like sex, or I don't really like romance, or I'm just not into both. I just kind of like people for being people. Pansexual, I like everything. Your gender does not have to matter. I just need you to be a good person. Everything else before those, lesbian, I like women. Gay, I like men. Bisexual, I like both genders, or any gender. Well, sexual. Let's say sex, male and female. I like male and female, and then trans, I don't, my body is not, the correct sexual body. And then LGBTQ, queer is queer, just that's just the umbrella term for I don't really have a distinct thing I identify as. Asexual, I don't have not really into it, just leave me alone, let me do my thing. Pan, I like everything. That should be how it is in my opinion. I just think that's where it should stop. Everything else is preference.
Right. I'd say when I come to asexual, there's a lot of preferences. I've come to realize there's something called Cupid ace, like a form of asexual is called like Cupid something. And it's when you desire a romantic relationship, but you don't want it. And it's kind of, and they described it as like, okay, I see, let's say you like, oh, I want to date you, right? And I'm thinking of all these scenarios about a romantic relationship with you. But as soon as you give them to me, I'm like, I don't want that. And apparently a lot of the time people who have that, they think about these romantic relationships, but they never think about themselves instead of romantic relationships. So it's like, I'm thinking of you as romantically, but it's not me and you, it's you and somebody else. I'm like, oh my God, that'd be so sweet. That'd be so nice. I want them this, that, and the third, but they just don't understand that part of it. So it's like,
it's kind of
the idea of romance is more desired than the romance itself. Yep.
Oh.
Which it's still a form of asexual. Cause like, I think at the same time, it's so much easier to say, well, I'm ace, but I feel like the only time you would explain that is if you just verbally say, "Ugh, I want to date somebody," and everybody's like, "You know what I'm saying?" Like, huh?
Yeah,
what? Right? And it's like, oh, blah blah blah. Okay, but you keep bringing it up, and then okay, now we have a genuine question. You keep saying this. Could you explain this to us? But until then, you just say you're ace, and I'm like, oh, I like people. Like that's like I feel like at the time I'm not saying you have to like calm yourself down for others, but I feel like that in itself is a very specific niche thing right?
Mm-hmm.
That you have to explain in high detail for people to understand. And I'm not saying, water yourself down. I'm just saying when you just say that you're asexual, it just kind of covers a whole spectrum. People understand it. When you say I'm Cupid, I was like, Cupid Roman. I don't know. It's Cupid something. I just wish I could remember what it does. And they have to explain that in detail. You know what I'm saying?
Right. But
And I feel like
that's what I'm saying at the end of the day. Like, I think we get each other. Like, at the end of the day, I think giving the umbrella term sexuality just makes more sense to the general public. And obviously, if people need to know like exactly what you like, there are terminologies for that. But like,
Mhm.
I don't think that making them like specifically making a whole different flag, whole different sexuality is the way to go about it. I think it's more like I'm gay, but I like masculine men. That does not make me though whatever sexuality likes masculine men. You know what I'm saying? Or if I'm ace, like I think honestly, whatever it is, cupid sexual, whatever it is, like it's a good way to identify what it is. But at the end of the day, again, I feel like that's just it's still more of a preference.
I feel like to identify a situation more of rather than a sexuality.
Right.
People can understand where you're coming from. So people are like, oh, they're Cupid this. And it's like, what? When it's like, oh no, they're ace. That should just explain anything to anybody who's questioning something. But if they want to know more, I'm like, oh, well, they describe themselves as this, and this. At the end of the day, if someone says, oh, your friend's really attractive. Yeah, but they're ace. Oh, okay. No one's going to ask more unless they're really, 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 really close to you.
Right. Period. Honestly. Anyways,
What's next in this list?
we have gotten to the T.
Transgender.
Transgender.
Which should be said in VR, there is a large
community of the transgenders, and we love them. We love the transgenders.
We do. Because and it's understandable so because VRChat is obviously portray yourself. I have 2 tails and 4 ears. My horns are small. Wait a minute.
Yeah, they're cute. And
they should be small.
I'm a skinny little femboy, and I'm not this in real life. I'm a large black man.
So skinny little femboy.
But like VRChat, VRChat at the end of the day, like it allows you to become what you want or become what you desire. I probably should say become what you desire.
Portray yourself in a certain way, at least.
Yeah, I mean, like y'all have seen my main avatar. It's a little robot guy, and like obviously I could never obtain that, but that's how I like to present myself. I think it's just a very cute characteristic of myself that I like to present to people. And obviously, this one is just one I wear casually every day. But when you're trans and you're walking around your everyday, if you don't feel like you can present yourself in your everyday life outside of the game, the way you want to present yourself, maybe you want to be skinnier, you want to have bigger breasts, you want to have more makeup on your face, things as such. You can just get an avatar that has all those things, and you can feel like yourself. You can truly feel like you're authentically and fully yourself, and that's the beauty of the art chat when it comes to the trans community.
A big part of it is how people perceive you, because like most people you will see a lot of people in VR who are trans will commonly be mute, because when you address them, the first thing you address by is by their avatar. You know what I'm saying? If I see you in a male avatar, I'm use he, him, and that in itself can just bring such a relief just to be addressed by this over and over, to hear and hear. Because like a lot of the times, if you hear somebody's voice and you see the avatar, let's say you hear my voice, right, and I'm a female avatar, 9 out of 10 they're gonna address me as he, him. 9 out of 10 because they don't really care about the avatar, they care about the voice. But if they don't hear voice, they're gonna go after what the avatar is. So a lot of people who are trans, if they don't feel comfortable in their voice, or if they think their voice gives off a certain impression, they just won't. They just won't do it, which I understand.
Mm-hmm. I completely understand, honestly, and like I can kind of get behind it, because like there are honestly, like I can be open about this. There are some days I want to portray myself more feminine than I do masculine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a masculine man. I'm okay to admit that. I have a lot of, I have a beard. I got all this hair. I'm a very manly man, like physically, but my voice obviously doesn't get that inflection, and I don't mind, putting that away to allow my more feminine side to go through, because of the fact that like it is nice to kind of be addressed, at least to some degree, as something that you're not, just for a second, just kind of feel it. But for trans people, That's what they want to feel all the time. And I can understand that feeling of like, I want to be addressed as what I want to be addressed as and not what I was born to be addressed as, which is like honestly a relieving feeling they get to have in VR. But we didn't come here to just glorify the gay people. We came to slander them. Listen, y'all.
Not too much on the trans. We're not trans. We'll be canceled.
Whoa. I'm not gonna throw them under the bus. I'm not gonna throw them under the bus.
Right. Love them.
Only the gays and the bisexuals can get thrown under the bus, but not the trans.
Right.
Not the
I hate you.
The trans community, the only thing I will say that I find kind of frustrating is misgendering. And I say that from people that misgender and people that get misgendered. Because I understand accidental misgendering. I can forget someone's name 1,000 times, right?
Right.
If your name is George and I call you Jeff, then I'm fucking up. Period. I'm just fucking up. My bad. But if I consistently call you Jeff after you've told me your name is George, I'm pissing you off on purpose at that point.
Yeah, that's just a fact.
Like at a certain point, if I say, "Hey, I'm he, him," and you keep calling me she, her, run them hands, nigga. Please run them hands.
Run them hands. Run them hands. What do you think? I say I'm pretty proud of myself, right? Is that I don't commonly misgender. For example, I have never misgendered Bass or Lola, which proud of myself for doing that because I when I was like younger in high school, I was like, doesn't that get kind of difficult? To like, just to like, if you hear something and you don't see it exactly, and you're like, oh, out, and it's like, well, I don't think it's that hard. And now here I am. I don't have a problem with it at all. It's really not difficult. It's really not hard. I don't understand people like struggle with it. You're not struggling. You're just transphobic.
Right. You're not trying.
And if you are struggling with it, right? I believe that there are some rooted problems, right? Because if someone continuously tells you to do something and you're not picking it up, then there's a mental problem there. Because I think a perfect example, the N-word. If I tell you one time not to say it, you can think that word all you want, but you know not to say it. It's simple. You know not to say that. So if I'm saying, hey, don't use these 2 words against me, that just these 2 words, and you keep doing it, why is that difficult? You know what I'm saying?
You're trying to piss me off. At that point, you just don't care. You just don't care.
Well, I will say though, at least the difference being is like you can say the N-word at all if you're white. Like at all, you can eliminate it from your vocabulary. Versus like you still use it. I guess that's the only difference. Even then, I feel if someone comes to me and say, I don't feel comfortable with using that word around me, depending, I'll try and at least cut back on it. A reacclaimed slur, you're not gonna make me hold my tongue. You sound a black man. I think
that also applies to trans people. I feel like some people, and I think this is gonna segue right into what I was gonna say. Right, some people don't necessarily have a giant problem with being misgendered because they understand that they're not in the place where they're going to be always considered as male or female because of their voice or their physical appearance or whatever. And they're understanding, and they're like, you know what, I understand, but like I am also, but by the way, I am this. Don't call me this. Like, and I think that patience is needed to be be like respected as a trans person. This is my gripe.
That's very.
I think when you have no patience for people that misgender you, to me, it gives you and trans people a bad look. After like, because like I understand like if let's way back to us, right? As black people, if you continuously call me, if you continuously like you throw like microaggressions at me about my race or whatever, like, oh, you speak nice, or oh, you have nice hair, can I just if you like that.
Oh God, triggered immediately, please.
But like,
oh my God,
you hear me right? If you continuously say that to me, and I'm like, and then like I just blow up on you because I'm tired of hearing that from people. And so, even if you only said it once to me, if I blow up on you, understand that it's not because of you. It's because I've been hearing that my entire life and I'm tired of it, right? But that should only be a problem if I've had like if it's just been a consistent thing like for like a week or like months or whatever, right? But if this is like the first time they're ever doing it and they don't mean any ill harm by it, then it's like, give them a little bit of a break. Calm down a bit.
Right.
Because it's like, Betsy, they don't mean to misgender you. If you sound or look a certain way, I'm sorry, y'all, but people have impressions. People get first impressions. It's about perception I think in the trans community, at least from the outside. And when they first meet you, unless you're presenting fully or obviously as a male or a female, they're gonna assume things. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. I hate to break it to you, but they're gonna assume things. And I think the best thing you can do as a trans individual is be patient and just be like, hey, those aren't my preferred pronouns. That's not my gender. This is what it is. Because that patience goes a long way for not only you, but the reputation the trans community has. Because ain't no one like to notice or to know that like, oh, that community is too much. They're too aggressive. That's the thing about us as Black people. If we keep getting aggressive, I mean,
like from like one oppressed community to another, right? As much as I hate hearing the term, oh, you speak so well, I'm not going to blow up on somebody about it because not a lot of people understand why that's,
ridiculous.
A microaggression, right? Because we explained it to our friend Redbeard. I don't know why he's up to it. We would explain to him, he was like, well, why can't you just think of it as a compliment? Because I have history in my family's history and friends' history of saying, and just, actual history of why that's not a good thing. You have the privilege to think to yourself, not that big of a deal. Because you don't want to experience that. The reason people think to them like, well, why is it such a big deal? People getting pronouns wrong. You have never been called she, her over and 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 over again and not want to be called that. You know what I'm saying? You haven't been called he, him your entire life. And okay, I want you to stop that. And then people still do that. You know what I'm saying? It's just it's as simple. Think of it like this, right? Something that really pisses me off. If I have food and I set it somewhere and everyone knows it's my food and you go and eat it and I say, hey, don't do that. And you keep doing that. Like, I know that thought itself can piss people off. If I say, don't eat my food, I wake up the next day and you eat my food when I wanted to eat that or I was ready to eat that, I've got to kill you. Simple.
Right.
Ain't nothing else to discuss. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's just like that. If I tell you not to do something, if I tell you not to do something, and you keep doing it over and over and over and over and over and over again, someone's going to blow up. I don't know why. I don't know what they've experienced, but people blow up from time to time. What I think people can do in situations is understand that, hey, you probably shouldn't take that to heart, and if probably talk it out with that individual if you can. Like, and most people who are in a good space, they know how to handle it.
At the end of the day, I truly think that not a majority, but a fair share of ignorance of prejudice is based in ignorance. They're not trying to be rude.
That's the real problem.
They're not trying to be rude. They're not trying to piss you off. They just literally don't know. And unless you are cognitively aware that, you know what, I am different. I'm not the social norm right now. Not yet. If you can get that in your head and then two, be able to be your own ambassador and say, you know what, this is what it is. And please respect me. If you can do those two things, life will go swell for you as a queer person. Swell. Because I tell you what, I'm like in our community as Black people, being gay is awful. It sucks for us because they don't know, they don't like you, they don't give a fuck about you, they think you're a pansy, they think you're getting fucked.
Especially if you're Black and trans. Ooh.
Black and trans. Don't even get me started.
That's the most.
But like the best thing you can do is stand your ground, but don't be a bitch. Don't be aggressive about it. Like, be confident, know who you are, know what you want to say. But royalty energy, period. Wear your crown, girl, or man.
And I say royalty for the non-binary babes out there. Hey. Because when we talk about trans people, people who use they them pronouns also fall under this category. Even though we haven't been used saying they them as much, apologies, but you also fall under this category because being that, I feel like being they them is like,
I feel like
slightly more annoying.
If you suck at pronouns, get really good at saying they them. I suck at pronouns.
That's what Bass does. The only reason Bass uses they them pronouns is because he understands people can't pick up, hey, don't use she her, don't use you they them. That's why his problem with he they, just so people don't use she her. They just use they them the entire time. After a while, I have a bad habit of calling people it. I'm working on it, and we've gotten past it mostly, but we're not quite there yet. So I've been out of VR for a bit. So I'm like, oh my guys, look, it followed me, and they'd be like, it, and I'd be like, oh. Here's the thing: not a lot of people will even realize. Not people will take note of it. But one, I think it was Nico. I was hanging out, and I was like, "Yo, look at it! It's so funny." And then Nico stopped and said, "It," and I was like,
Huh?
I ran. What else was I supposed to do in this situation? I
Right,
don't know.
guy.
I thought I did the right thing.
I'd have passed
Oh
out.
yeah, literally.
Anyways, y'all. We love you,
Anyways,
trans
can't stand the
people.
gays,
We
huh?
love you. Our next thing is the umbrella terminology for queer. So I have personally identified queer as anyone who does not align with being straight, like period. If you are, you don't really have a specific sexuality, but you just kind of like things that aren't like the traditional way of going about it, you are queer. If you, period, you're just queer.
Right.
Like if you're in communities that are not traditionally straight, you have relationships that aren't traditionally straight, things as such, you are queer. And
Like Maddie, Maddie Metamorphosis, the drag queen. I would consider.
Yes.
But is it really? Are they queer or is it a queer art form? 'Cause I doubt like Maddie would use the term queer. You know what I'm saying? I feel like it is more of a queer activity.
Yeah,
Queer, okay, yeah.
it's a
There we go. There we go.
Right.
Okay, yeah.
But
like at the same time, people who are trans and straight.
People that are, I think honestly, like on drag in general, I think like a lot of drag queens. I think a lot of drag queens are gay.
Oh no, most of them are like gay or bisexual. You know, as far as we're aware, Maddie is literally the only popularized straight one. At least the only one that has like a large enough following.
Yeah, but like then again, like I think anyone that has like anyone that has like a favorite male artist that does pop, anyone that has a favorite makeup artist that's a man, favorite makeup designer or makeup owner, anything like that, there's some form of queer. And I think the best way to understand queer is to just recognize that queer, as I said, is literally just the umbrella terminology for all gay. If it's gay, it's queer. Just straight up. If you think something, you clock it as gay, it's queer. That's what it means.
Yeah.
But not much touch on. There's not much to touch on with queer. Queer is just queer. The asexuals. We could talk about the asexuals.
You won't see a lot of them in VRChat because VRChat's a horny place. Keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. Keep it a buck. I don't know a lot of them from VRChat that are asexual.
Yeah. You know what's funny though? I feel like a lot of the community in general for queer people, gay people, is just very sexual. I think it's a very sexualized community, unfortunately. Sometimes. I think
the only reason it's so sexual is because I think the reason it's only so sexual is because women aren't given enough attention. Women, biologically just aren't as sexual as men. Just, genetically speaking, which makes sense. But because women aren't as loud, like you go on TikTok and you look up queer, queer TikTok, queer TikTok, YouTube, just anything, right? You'll see a lot of men, right? And you don't see a lot of women, and women just not to say women can't be sexual, but I feel like you more oftenly see women indulge in art forms that would be considered sexual, but they don't take it a sexual way. For example, pole dancing. Pole dancing is just a fantastic art form. Pole dancing is not innately sexual.
Yeah,
right. If you want to make it sexual, pop off.
Because of the cultural understanding that pole dancing is for strip clubs, that makes it sexual. And I think that's what I'm talking about the gay community, is that because whenever you think gay, I think most people that are not like smart just think of porn. Let's just be honest here, y'all. I think when you think gay, you think men kissing. That's what you think about. And unfortunately, that is the wrong way to think about it. And not even unfortunately, straight up, that's the wrong way to think about it. When you think gay, think of just men and men in a romance, or men and a non-binary person in a romance, or anything like that. Just queer people having a romance. It doesn't have to always.
You never think about two women, because women loving women is just such a foreign idea. I saw another thing on TikTok. It was like there's like a thing called like the Beltic something test. And it's very, very, very small. if you watch any movie, right, you so very, 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 very little will find two women having a conversation that is not about another man.
Oh my god! Unless it's a lesbian movie.
Harry Potter movie. Which, how many of them are? Every Harry Potter movie fails. Every single time there's a conversation between two women, two females, it's always either brought up or talking about another male individual. Which is wild. And it's like called like the Beltic test. It's just that so very, very, very few movies have this because because it's okay, you'll have two men talking about another guy. You know what I'm saying? Because they're mostly like, male protagonists. So if you have a female protagonist, she's always talking about maybe even if it's in a lesbian movie, you know what I'm saying? It still doesn't happen as often, which is wild that's even a thing.
Which even funny because like even in like women lead movies, they usually have a male foil or like a male side protagonist. If not, they have a love interest.
Yeah.
Or they have a sidekick that's also a man. But Laura Croft as a character is always with a man.
Period.
And she's Laura motherfucking Croft.
No, it's so true. It's just like the complete absence of lesbian energy is crazy.
You only see it in games.
There's a TikTok couple.
I think you only see it in games.
What games?
Well, I think with like games that don't have to do with like strictly male or female, Bayonetta, or even Genshin Impact. These are games I know off the top of my head.
Even then, Bayonetta was like a complete betrayal because there was just like so much. There was a lot of sexual energy in Bayonetta in general. Like between John and Bayonetta, I feel like it was somewhat of a disservice to just not have them be in love. You know what I'm saying? Make them best friends. Yeah. Sure. But like the energy between them.
But they're never talking about men.
Period. As it should be. As it should be.
Bayo ignores her man the entire first two games. Like I don't like you. Please go away.
So true. That's so true. If anything, she babies him and toys with him like a cat with a ball of yarn. So that's a slay.
We love queer. We hetero. hetero.
Living.
But I have some questions for you. Now that we've entered the anonymous portions of the gay. To you, what do you think in the queer community could we be doing better? Or could we be doing less of?
That's fantastic. I feel like
I have one.
Educating straight people because I feel like there's not enough educate. Because I feel there's not just enough talk because I feel like especially in our generation we have a lot more information, we have a lot more understanding of social situations. I feel like you should be out here educating the people, right? Like if you have straight fins, you should be helping them understand this before you're put in a situation. They're like, well, I didn't see a problem. Right. Exactly. And now you're now everyone looking stupid. You know what I'm saying? I think I feel like when it comes to but at the same time when it comes to VR, you know what I'm saying? You don't run into many situations in VR that you can't deal with a block button. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I'm not gonna sit right here and have some straight man call me, a faggot. Anyway, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not dealing with that. So like when you run into them situations, and that's why like VR is such a safe space because you can deal with these things almost immediately. When you're in IRL, you have to educate your friends because if you are in a situation, there's no block button. You have to deal with the situation as it is. And if your friends are like, well, I didn't see a problem situation. They didn't see a problem because you didn't educate. And it's kind of sucky sometimes that you are in a situation of educating people because you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know too much about people who are trans or asexual. I try to learn when the situation is presented to me, but like I don't know that much. So when I'm around, I'm like, hey, I have a question about this. I have a question about this. I have a question about this. You know what I'm saying? But even if your straight friends are around you who are someone who is queer, right? That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to ask questions. So you have to take that initiative to educate them before a situation in which you are put in danger comes around.
my mom has always said this: you should never know nothing.
Mm,
Because the last thing that you want in life is to not know something. Like you don't ever want to get in a situation where, as a queer person, someone's coming at you, or someone has this ignorance, and you can't defend yourself, or you can't teach them what's right and what's wrong.
right.
Like, you don't want to get walked over. So you need, I think, queer people out there, beyond the screen, like, y'all, I think we, community, the best thing that we can do is be knowledgeable of the world. Like, know what happened, know what's happening, know what might happen. Know gay history, know how it was, know what was right, what didn't work, what works. Present day, how popular is gay? Who is gay in these days that's in the limelight? Who's queer?
Mm-hmm.
What are they doing? Things as such, so that you can know, okay, if someone comes up to me as a gay person and they just recently read about some James Charles drama about him touching kids, and he comes up to me and calls me a pedophile, how am I going to respond? You know what I'm trying to say? Because unfortunately, a lot of people do that.
Whoa. Right.
I'm saying though.
You would never lie. Whoa.
Unfortunately, a lot of people jump those lanes because they see one gay person doing bad, so they then equate every gay person to also do that bad.
Right.
Or they see one trans person that's blowing up on people for misgendering, so they assume all trans people are doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all gotta
when
stay
when
diligent.
you don't have information, you be out here looking stupid in the face, because like I was saying, like, I don't. What I also don't want to do, right, is myself in a situation.
Ooh.
And for example, like, I've told my white friends that I live in the South, right? If we're driving, right, and we get pulled over by a police officer, y'all are doing what I say. Because y'all not, no, I'm not speaking, but I'm gonna give y'all a quick run. You're gonna do things in this exact order. Because no offense, y'all are not as much risk as I am. So let's keep it a buck. Y'all gonna do this, and this in this way. If I'm with my straight friends and they don't know something, I'm like, hey, this situation could happen in this area for these reasons. Do this in these situations. I'll tell you why after we get out of here, but until then, we operate like this. And that's just gonna be how it is, because, like, maybe I didn't tell you maybe I forgot to tell you what happens in this area. You know what I'm saying? Do this, because I forgot to tell you then, and then I'll explain to you why later. I don't have time. I can't explain everything to you, but if I'm going to explain something to you, I'm giving you the full details, because I'm not about to sit right here and I'm putting myself first, basically.
Here's my thing, right? We on this podcast, we have no problem with white or straight people. Deep down, we don't. However, I think genuinely, queer people, y'all need some genuine, like, really good straight friends. I do think that. Because the last thing you want is to be caught in a gaggle of gays going to places that aren't gay, and you get beat the fuck up because you ain't with the straight posse that can defend you.
That, or have a bear with you. Besides that, you'll be fine. But go ahead.
Right. That, or have someone who can fight. But, like,
period.
If you don't have that near you, find somebody who can speak up for you in case your voice isn't being heard. That's just something that I think everybody should have. You gotta have people, or at least, if not people, then somebody in your life that can speak up for you or speak up with you in case you're in a situation of prejudice. Because I tell you what, if we were together and we was getting harassed, I'm loud, but I don't have any sense when I'm getting pissed on. You ain't gonna talk to me like that. I'll fight you right now, but that can escalate into a fight. I don't have any sense when I'm getting like someone's yelling at me or someone's getting something upset with me.
Oh, okay.
Like, you ain't gonna piss on me and get away with it. Like, if someone's yelling at me, getting mad at me or something like that, or they're being prejudiced, pull up. But if we were together, you might speak in a more direct or calmer way, or a more easier to listen to way than I would. Cause I'm just gonna go off. You might speak more calm. Really?
Oh no, I'm swinging on demand. You're not about to sit right here and to my face. Oh no, bestie, we going to jail together? Nah, you got the wrong one thing. I'm about to sit right here, just like, oh my god, let me say no. Come closer, come closer, come closer, come closer, closer. Bam. Stop playing with me, because you got the wrong one today. To my face? To my face? You're wild. You're wild. You thought I was with that slide? You're wild.
Oh my god.
You're wild about that slide.
We did actually want to talk about though. 'Cause we talked about this whole topic in messages. Like, I feel I was saying well, you had said this. There is no gay culture in VR chat because everything's already.
There's
gay.
not a lot of there's not a gay culture in that, because when we talk about gay culture, I feel there's an understanding but not a culture. It's like there's no. I feel like people try to build safe spots or safe spaces in VR chat for like a. There's really. There's nothing you can do to keep that space, quote unquote, safe from people who aren't a part of that community. You know what I'm saying? So it's like there's an understanding. There's a common thought process. You know what I'm saying? For example, I don't think there's a quest community in VR chat, but there's a hive mind. There's an understanding. There's a we all don't like this. You know what I'm saying? But I don't think there's a community for it. I feel like there should be a community for it. I feel like quest people bleed way too much, but I feel like there isn't like a community for it. There's not a gay community. There's a gay understanding, because you can see somebody who's in like an avatar immediately clock. You know what I'm saying? Chat with them a little bit, confirm it, and then boom, connect immediately. But there's not a community because, like, I don't know, like there's community is kind of an understanding, but at the same time, I think it's slightly different when you can unify together. There's no need to unify in VR chat. Yeah, there's no threats. There's no big enough threats in VR. VR chat isn't but to say, all right, if you're gay and we smell on you, you're getting kicked out of VR chat. Oh, we got actually no. That's not happening. The first thing you do is you get somebody straight being homophobic, you're like blocked, and now that problem is now completely gone. There's no reason for there to be a community. There's no reason to unify.
When it comes to negatives, y'all, just get it together. Enough of the phobias, y'all. The internalized homophobia and the fat phobia needs to go.
Spiders aren't that bad.
Autism
That was a bad joke. I apologize for that one.
I'm still on your autism thing, girl.
Yeah. Listen, I talked to Exa. He said he does have autism. So I'm in the clear.
It's still fun.
I checked. Don't worry, guys. I'm not ableist.
If y'all saw last episode, you would know what we're talking about. Go check it out, by the way. It'll appear on it's somewhere on top of the screen. It's like in the corner. You'll see it. Go look at that video. You see what I'm talking about. Anyways, y'all, that is going to be the end of our podcast today. Thank y'all for coming out and listening to our podcast. Next episode, we are going to talk about something.
We're talking about something. Probably. We should probably hop on that. We should probably hop on.
If not, then you'll see. It'll be a treat. You already know. Anyways, I'm Video, the V and AV signing off. And who are you?
Dun, 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 dun. Signing out. This is Sataria. This is the audio 10-4. Yeah, I think would be
and we'll see
fantastic.
you on the field.
I hear these VR chat streets. What I think would be real funny is that you'll see me, when you're editing this video, you'll see me so much just staring at the jellyfish coming to the window and watching them disappear and be like, okay, I'm focused now. Because I'll be... No, I'm listening. I'm here, but I'm just looking at the jellyfish. Oh, stop recording.
Love y'all. See you.
Bye. Bye.